Over the past 10 years, I've been a headmaster, an artist, a scientist, a pilot, an astronaut. Every role I've ever embodied, I first discovered through play. I'm from a big council estate called St. Raphael's Estate, based in northwest London. It's a home to many families from low-income backgrounds. During the summer holidays, when we were kids, and our mums had gone to work, us kids will be out in the estate all day and just play. It's very simple, quite childlike, but something special would happen when we play. We had this ability of transforming our neighborhood any way we see fit within seconds. If we wanted to make this estate somewhere from outer space, play made that possible. If we wanted to make this estate a battle zone, we will fight each other with water guns and gallons of tap water, play made that possible. If we wanted to make this estate a stage in Wembley Stadium, and we were all our own versions of Michael Jackson, play made that possible. We spoke it, and it became so. Play made it so that every surface in our estate became a chance for self-expression and exploration. Play made it so that we could reorganize the world we was born into something more abundant. Play was our superpower. But at some point, as we get older, things change. The community center closes down, and the no ball game sign gets repainted. The pressures of low-income housing begins to take its toll. And year on year, as our resources become less and less, at some point in our teenage life, our imagination turns to pessimism. And then our games become more dark, troublesome, eventually illegal. And even though we deem each other friends and family within the estate, the outside world begins to call us gang. By the time you're old enough to tie your shoelace, the world has no problem calling us villains, monsters, unredeemable, with many stories, either by local press or through word of mouth, to paint that picture. And those stories stick. It's the same stories we've heard about Marseille in France, or Southwestern Township in Johannesburg, or Moss Side in Manchester, or Compton in Los Angeles. I once read my estate described as one of the most deprived places in one of the most deprived boroughs in London. My neighborhood, deprived. Oh, spare me and spare us. We wanted to respond to all of those stories by telling a better one. And like old times, we wanted to play a new game. At 23, I approached 5 of my friends with an idea which, looking back, was a new invitation to play. We are going to make a passport. We are going to, for once, tell our own story in our own way and present it back to our neighbors in the form of a book. And this book will be our passport to go anywhere we want, meet anyone we want, and become anyone we want. Who do we want to become? Authorities. Authorities of our own lives, of our own land, of our own story. So we called our book Authors of the Estate, a new role to fill ourselves into. Now, this book was a collection of conversations, poems, essays, and manifestos, saying to ourselves, not the world, but to ourselves, that there's more for us than what's being prescribed. And it took us around about 6 months to write, edit, design, and print this book. And on March the 5th, 2015, we had it in our hands. Authors of the Estate, ready to be given to all 1,000 homes in St. Raphael's Estate. That day, all of our neighbors either came home to or woke up to a book that was essentially a love letter to our neighborhood written by our neighbors. Do you want to know how it feels to put this book through every single letterbox? I'll tell you. So when we were kids, for fun, we used to knock on our neighbors' doors and then run up before they could answer it, just to annoy them. And now, as adults, we're putting our stories through their book in a way that affirms them. It felt like we were playing our way into alternative reality. 5 years later, I meet a man called Nabil Al-Kanani. He's from an estate 10 minutes walk away from me, Chalk Hill Estate. A very similar estate with a very similar story. He stops me to ask a simple yet incredibly profound question. Why did you stop playing? Now, for me, Authors of the Estate had served its purpose. I connected with my neighbors in a fresh new way. Our stories have been told. The game has been played. But he challenged me to expand my geography of where this game could be played, from St. Raphael's Estate out into the wider world. What if we evolved our rationale for play? What if it was no longer satisfying to just tell our stories? What if we could continually tell our stories on our own terms? What if we turn our council houses into publishing houses? I said, okay, let's play. So that summer was spent telling all of our neighbors about this new big project. We put posters all over Chalk Hill, convincing them to be part of this new publishing house. And at first, no one responded. We now know it's because the language we were using, authors, publishing house, alternative education, was all words that our neighbors were told were not for them. And at some point in their lives, they may have believed it. So we stripped all the hindering language back to a simple invitation to play. Meet us at the community center down the road at 12 o'clock on Sunday, and let's just share stories. It then went from 2 to 22 local residents willing to take part and be a part of this book. Some people just wrote on paper, some people spoke, and we transcribed. Some people wrote their chapters via WhatsApp. We considered it all writing, we considered it all authorship. This was a process that we had to discover through play. We had to ask ourselves, if we did turn our council house into a publishing house, how could we? Then we played our way towards the solutions with the materials that we had available. That winter, we were all in a gallery in Wembley Park, celebrating the launch of our second book, Authors of the Estate, written by Chalk Hill Estate. It was only then when our neighbors understood what just happened. The conversation we've been having amongst ourselves is called storytelling. Those stories have gone into this book that makes us authors. And the fact that we can share and distribute this however we wish makes us publishers. The language that once wasn't for us now clearly is. And yeah, you might have to squint to see the publishing house within what we're doing, but not for very long. Now our neighbors are making their own books, and we're building quite a collection. Everything from the ideation, the writing, the design, marketing, sales and distribution happens all in-house, within our estates, somewhere between Chalk Hill and St. Raphael's Estate. Our so-called super deprived estates now have a voice of our own, and we're dispelling those myths. Now, in Northwest London, this is how we play. We look at our surrounding environment, ask what could be, then play our way towards a solution. Now, this play is not the type of play that's nostalgic. We're not trying to connect with our inner child when we play. And when you think about it, even children are not trying to connect with their inner child when they play. When they play, they do so to learn and grow. And so do we. We call our type of play aspirational play. The kind of play where you're not connecting with your past self, but your future self. playing your way into the world and playing your way into a world that does not yet exist, but becoming the type of person who could lead that world well. Now, for us, aspirational play has never been a nice to have, but a necessity. Without it, we have no means of future creation for ourselves, but through it, we've personally witnessed a shift in our neighborhoods, from our culture to our economy to the stories told about us. It's all reimagined. And it all begins with one simple question. What kind of world can we play our way into? Ask yourself that question. Your response to that question will most likely involve aspirational play. Now, as grown adults, we still have aspirations. It's things that we're still trying to grow and learn. Things concerning politics, climate, housing, economics, education. And we have many tools to work towards these future ambitions. However, one tool, one vital tool, is often missing. Some of the discoveries that we're looking for, we cannot talk our way into it, protest our way into it, or even strategize our way into it. Some of the discoveries we're looking for will only be rewarded to those who take on the world playfully. Where I'm from, what we discovered is that there is a whole new world hiding within the one you're currently in. Where is it? Let's play our way towards it. See what we discover. Thank you.